Now n8n is already installed. Of course, we can do some basic configuration of n8n. Let us first of all go to Docker installation that we have done. So here I have provided you the documentation also for the self-hosted using Docker. You can see that Postgres is there and these credentials are also there, whatever credentials you have set up. So I'll be using the same file here to set up the credentials now. So if I go back to the n8n.syncbricks.com, which I have already installed, in this installation, if I go to the home page, you will see here workflow and credentials. We will start creating the workflow, but first of all, let me add few credentials here. So what are those credentials? As I have already told you that we have created two more services here. One service is Qdrant and PostgreSQL. So the database which is used for this particular installation, so all the workflows and everything is stored in PostgreSQL. Qdrant, you can store the files over there, which I will show you in next videos. But let us first of all configure the credentials here. You will understand in next videos also how to configure other credentials also. So credentials are required to connect n8n with an external application. So you will be using these credentials. You will be coming back again and again when you will be connecting with any external application. You will be coming back here, connecting the application using the API key, which is application program interface, which I have already explained you. This is the key which is used to connect the application so that the application can communicate with another application. So we have these two applications which I have already explained you. One is Postgres and one is Qdrant. Now the service names you can see in the Docker Compose file also, which I have explained. The service name for n8n is n8n. You can see here container name is n8n. Service name for Postgres is Postgres. So I will copy this and I will come here to n8n and I will create the credential. And remember, if you have installed using Docker and the method which I have explained you, using that only you will be able to use this. So don't try to use it on, of course, npm. If you have not installed Postgres, of course, you will not be able to use those credentials. This is only for the Docker installation, which you have done using this particular method. So I'll go back here, add the first credential. It will be Postgres. So you'll see here PostgreSQL. Here you have to click on continue, provide the host name. Of course, host name is not localhost. Host name is Postgres, which we have set up already. So you can see here Postgres was the host name, database and user we have to change. I will change this also. I will change this also. What is here? You will go back here to the environment which we have already set up. But if you go back to the Postgres, you will see here that Postgres user is Amjad, Postgres password is Amjad, and Postgres DB is n8n DB. So I will copy this from here and I will come back. Here it is n8n DB, user is Amjad. Whatever user you have set up, of course, you have to customize that Docker Compose file, and password is here. I can name it Postgres account on Docker, self-hosted. So you can, of course, it is just for you to document it properly and save. The moment you save it, you will see here that connection is successful. So it means that Postgres account is now linked here. Just take a note of this. You have to provide the host name, which will be Postgres, which is, of course, hosted within the stack. Just ignore the SSL, disable the SSL. Port is 5432. It was default. Don't change anything. Just look for the user ID and password which we have set up. Now we'll be adding Qdrant. So if I show you Qdrant, so you will go to Qdrant service. You will see the Qdrant detail here. Service name is Qdrant and the port is 6333. So I can open this from here also. If I show you 10.11.12.109 and port is 6333. Qdrant is running right now. It is vector search engine. So there are both options. Either you go with this particular URL for the Qdrant. So I will just create the credential here, create new credential. It will be Qdrant this time. And I will just click on continue. You don't need to provide any API key. You just need to provide the Qdrant URL. So if you provide the Qdrant URL in this way also, it will work. But I want to access this within the stack. So within the stack, its name is Qdrant. So I will simply copy this. And I will simply come back here. Instead of IP address, I will be using Qdrant. So it will again work. Fine, saved. Here you go. So Qdrant is also configured. So these two credentials are right now configured. So now your complete stack is configured, which means that n8n is configured, Qdrant is configured, and PostgreSQL is configured. So which means that if you want to access anything from the database or if you want to store anything into the database, you can save it here. And this is also Qdrant. If you want to add any file into Qgrant, search anything from those files. So you will be able to use as a RAG agent. Here you will be able to store this on the database. So now this is production ready setup, which means that you have a database which is storing all the data, and you have the Qgrant which is used for the file search. So this was about NA10 using Docker. This is a production ready setup. This particular installation is my recommendation. If you have GPUs on your server, you can use Ollama in that Docker stack also. You can self-host the AI models. And then with Ollama, you can use either DeepSeek or you can use Llama, whatever versions you are comfortable with. We will be using OpenAI, we will be using Google Gemini, we'll be using DeepSeek, we'll be using all other possible AI models. We'll be also using all the possible applications. So let's continue to next video now, where we will be looking at all other aspects of NA10.